Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amdan. Here I want to describe the interest theory. Theorizing about right has not been dominated by the choice theory, but by an ongoing debate between the choice theory and another different theory which is usually called the interest theory. Joseph Rush describes the theory very succinctly. Definition: X has a right if and only if X can have right and other thing being equal an aspect of X as well-being. His interest is a sufficient reason for holding some other persons to be under that T. The principle of capacity to have right. An individual is capable of having right if and only if either his well-being is of ultimate value or he is an artificial person. Rush leaves open what it is for an individual's well-being to be of ultimate value, but another interest theorist, Neil McCormick, is more committal and explicitly and plausibly argues the children do have right to at least care, nurture, and love. McCormick rejects the will theory on the ground that neither children nor the people would take care of them may waive this right. It is not the case that the child or someone deemed to be acting on the children's behalf has an option of enforcing the duty of care and nurture, which option may or may not be exercised according to be arbitrary choice. If the child needs greater care than it is being provided, there is no discretion to be exercised. That greater care must be provided. Of course, there is discretion in juggling any question of need, but is discretion of kind not complete by the will theory. Right bearers then need not have well development capacities 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 for choice, but are being whose interests demand more respect, being like ordinary human adult, ordinary human children, and perhaps some animal. On this account, right are not only justified by their role in protecting choice, but by their role in giving people opportunities for their life to go well. Since children's well-being is like that of adults of ultimate value, children are clear candidates or like attribution. There is not is no need on this theory for children and adults to have the same right. Read the text of the Confession on the Right of Child. Does it promote choice right or interest right? Does the King healthcare policy support this understanding of children's right? Why or why not? Is there an argument of Is there an argument for the interest theory of right over the choice theory of right? The quote passage from McCormick comes from an extended argument that the interest theory is superior because it supports children having rights. In our context, that argument will be circular. There is certainly no consensus among philosophers in that this dispute has been raging as long as philosophers have talked about right. So we are unlikely here to provide an argument that will convince opponents. We can, however, state a few which we find plausible and that seems to support the interest theory. It seems to us that the purpose of social and moral institution is to make people live better than they otherwise would, rather than to protect individual choice. But once we are and measured in a social metrics, we make different choice than we would outside or in different social metrics and our capacity for choice are different. How does the interest theory of right apply to the king case? Things get complete because not only does the interest theory have the resource to recognize children as right bearers, it also has the resources to recognize parents as having right over their children. If adults have an interest in being able to have certain kind of religion with children and reliably enabling people to have such a relationship requires assigning them right over their children. Then the interest theory will say that parents have precisely this right over children. That all children have a right to quality healthcare is clear under the interest theory because healthcare further every child, current and future well-being. This interest theories would argue is a moral right that translates into a legal right that obligates adult and the state to ensure that all children are cared for. So when it comes to receiving contraception, choose to engage insect or have the same right to privacy that we grant to Allah, they clearly do not. But whether or not this policy further and the child well-being and whether or not it does, whether it undermines the parental interest in having relationship of a certain kind with their child. Let's suppose that children command or moral respect or have interests that are of ultimate value and that the interest theory of right is true. This tells us that children may be right bearers, but that they are, nor what right, if any, they have. Okay, thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.